she can die any moment. So that awareness makes the job very different from almost anything else that we can do. We must understand this, that in this country,
Addition.
one of the greatest
Une bouteille
teachings
d'eau.
that have happened in this country, I'm not an expert on this, but one of the greatest teachings but hugely recognized in India and across the planet by many
Tu prends un sandwich ou une pizza,
is the Gita. You must understand, Krishna chose to give the teaching in the battlefield. He could have done it. 12, 13 years they were in the jungle, peaceful jungles. He could have given the teaching there. He could have set up an ashram and given a teaching, but he chose battlefield because a human being never realizes
des…
the nature of who or she is unless mortality is hanging in their face. The reason why I'm constantly talking about death,
Je
I refer to people's
voudrais
death, but then it becomes very
un verre
oppressive if I keep on talking about their death, so I keep talking about
de
my death.
de
To a
de
point where
de
recently somebody asked, is Sadhguru healthy, is something wrong with his health? Nothing wrong with my health, but you may be healthy but you still die. You may be young, you may still die. You may be fit, but you still die. Only when you conscious of your mortality, exploring the nature of my existence becomes a natural aspiration. What is beyond this body? I'm not trying to belittle the situation of the Jawans and the officers who work on the borders, facing extreme situations and danger and death in real time, not as a concept, real time. I'm not trying to in any way belittle that, but
Elle va au travail en bus.
this is also a tremendous place where one to turn inward because it is natural
Travail.
for a human being.
Le
When
chocolat.
you are conscious of death, you want to know what is beyond this body. And that longing is called spiritual process.
le bus,
So when I say death,
somme,
if you allow
Ah.
me, I'll share a little bit of experience that I had with somebody else. When I was just maybe 2.5 or 3 years of age, for some reason my mother was not well and they left me with my aunt
aimons,
for about
la
nearly 2
musique,
years, I think, close to 2 years. She was only 19 years of age, she was already married. She was a very joyful and loving human being, exuberant person. She took
nous
me as her own
sommes
and
à la banque.
she showered immense love upon me. Above all, she was a very joyful, playful young woman. I developed a certain bond with her. I was with her less than 2 years, then I left. But we always maintained that friendship and relationship, not as an aunt, more as a friend. And her life went as per the script, nothing, no major aberrations. 2 children, daughter got married as they want, son went to America, grandchildren are cute, everything as she thought is her life. But then some ailment came and she knew she's going to die. The last 2 years of her life,
Les documents sont sur mon
became
bureau.
so disturbed because she couldn't handle death. She was such a wonderful human being all her life.
Nous habitons à Berlin.
So joyful, so loving, but now she became like this. When I looked at this, I just saw the only problem is this. Because
Il
your
regarde la
experience of
télé.
life is just limited to your physiology and your psychology, your thought and emotion and your body. Now you
Document
know you're going to lose all of it
sur
and you can't handle it because what do I
mon
do next?
bureau.
Because you don't even know whether
Elle
you
regarde la
exist or
télé
not.
chaque jour.
When this happened, I just helplessly watched her going through this because I was traveling so extensively.
Elle regarde la télé chaque jour.
I thought, this is a commitment from me that every human being should have at least one drop of spirituality. We aimed at Tamil Nadu and we call this
voulons,
Anmikam. That means
voulons
one drop
habiter
spirituality
à
for
Berlin.
everybody. It doesn't matter what is your gender, caste, creed, religion. Everybody must have one little spot within themselves which is beyond their body, which is beyond their mind. If this comes into their experience, when the time comes, either in
Chaque
natural ways or in
matin.
unnatural ways, when time comes to shed this body,
Regarde.
you
Télé.
will do this very gracefully. For every human being, I'm not just saying for a soldier, for every human being it will come. You don't know when it will come. But if you had an experience beyond this body, beyond this mind, your ability to handle this aspect of life would be incredibly better than the way it is right now. Especially in a profession where
Nous voulons une pizza.
unfortunately still we live in a world where armies are a must. You cannot live
Lire.
in this world without security
J'aime la
forces.
musique.
We've still not come to that level of consciousness where the entire world can embrace each other and live. That is not a reality, that'll be a joke right now. So we need
Au cinéma.
and we are
Tu
putting
prends la
our
voiture?
men and women to risk
Nous allons à l'école en avion.
to see that the rest of the nation lives well. And this is one thing we have to do in the country. Every citizen who lives in this country must be made to understand that today we go to our office and come back, today our children go to school and come back, today we are doing whatever we wish to do in this country only because certain number of men and women are standing guard and taking care of this. Otherwise, you must look back at medieval times when raiders came and raped and looted and did what they did in the past. And the same will happen even today. World has not changed in that sense. The same will happen today probably in worse forms than before because they're better equipped than ever before.
Nous allons.
So,
Ah.
it is very important in this
hôtel.
country, every citizen understands that we owe this to the soldiers, we owe this to the defense forces, we owe this to variety of security forces who are providing this to us. But I think in the making of our nation, we have forgotten to instill this in every citizen's minds and hearts. We still it is funny that this is still from the British era, this is the hangover. Even today, an average citizen, when he sees a policeman, he fears. He doesn't feel comfortable. If police are there, you must feel safe.
Tu aimes
But
lire?
instead, most citizens in India, if police are there, they're afraid. What will they do to me? Because this comes from the British era. If you see the khaki uniform,
Nous
they're going
sommes
to beat you,
Français.
they're going to arrest you, they're going to do something to you. Still that mentality is there in the country, which from both
Tu
ends
aimes
we
lire?
have to work to change this, and a new level of pride has to be built in for the
Nous sommes
sacrifices
Français.
that are being done. It is beginning to happen, but it must happen much more rapidly. It must be built into our
Tu-
youth especially.
Veux. Or.
Nous aimons le chocolat.
गुरुजी को सादर
हाँ।
नमस्ते। गुरुजी, जैसा कि
ले।
हम सभी जानते हैं,
Mais
वर्तमान समय में हमारे सभ्य समाज में और सुरक्षा बल में महिलाएं अपने पुरुष कर्मियों के साथ एक समान रूप से अपने कर्तव्यों का
जी।
निर्वहन कर रही हैं। इसके बावजूद भी हमारा समाज महिलाओं को अपने समक्ष स्वीकार नहीं कर रहा।
prends.
गुरुजी, कृपया इस
Voit
संबंध
nous
में
allons
मन स्थिति हेतु परिवर्तन
le
हेतु
école.
हमारे समाज के समस्त समुदाय, अभिभावक व माता पिता का मार्गदर्शन करें।
The last part of the question, first I understand.
Allons
You understood the first part, sir.
à l'école.
How to change the mindset of men in the society.
Instead of parents, she was saying.
Parents included, because parents also do not accept in the same way where their girl daughters or anybody doing the same amount of work with same fervor. So how to bring this change in mindset in the masses, in the society, and including in the armed forces?
It's wonderful to see a young woman like you in the forces, and